A pleasant Tuesday morning to you. Welcome once again to Untengle on the Bridge 99 FM. A very special morning to you, Richard B. and the Up and Go crew. You all have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. And morning, everyone on the bridge. Always good to see you on the bridge. You know, we're always here because of you. So have yourself a wonderful morning. I want to say a very special morning to Team Untengle. Good morning, team. When I got this interview with Kevaughn Ellis, I said to myself, me know Kevaughn. Of course, me know Kevaughn. Kevaughn are one of the Ellis them. You know one of the Ellis them.
Yeah, man. You also interviewed me before.
Which part?
When I did a spoken word poetry.
Yes.
Chasing, yeah, man.
That's right.
Back
That's
in
right.
2017.
That's how I know you. I know you as a poet.
Yeah.
That's right. And were you at one of the Rastakura show them? You did.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Definitely.
you had a book you were reading on behalf of somebody.
Yeah.
I remember that. Now I'm getting it very clear exactly who Kevaughn is. I knew you were related to the Ellises. So how you related to Alton now?
Well, really, Blacker,
Yeah.
thing granduncle.
Mm-hmm.
Ian would be like my second cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So back from Senton side of the world. Yeah.
My goodness, I think it is the strongest gene pool I have seen for a long while. No matter how distant they are, you see the Ellis. Even a little variation here and there, but you can't miss it. All right, so let us talk about why you're here now. So, before we start talking about the car wash business, let's talk about the life that you had before as an accounting technician.
Yeah.
At a government ministry. What happened between that and 2019? Take us through working as an accountant and 2019. What was happening?
Yeah, at that time, I was just a regular 9 to 5 employee where I, as I said, work as an accounting technician. And at that time, I was doing poetry. So that was just basically it. Didn't have any plan to start a car wash or anything like that.
Right. Okay. So you were doing poetry because that's one of your loves.
Yes.
And you were working at the ministry.
Yes.
So you were balancing those two.
Yeah.
So what happened that made you decide to start this car wash?
So in 2019, because I started the business December 15, 2019. So I had my second child on the way. I have a son and then I had a daughter on the way at the time. So, I was thinking to myself, I need a second income. So I had a Honda Civic at the time. So I said, all right, I'm going to put it on the road as a robot taxi. Mm-hmm. Wasn't successful in getting a good drive or anything like that. So I said, you know what? Sold the car, purchased some car wash equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to get a piece of land to either rent or lease. And
to put the car wash pan.
yeah, that was another difficult situation. So I decided that I would use my other personal car to do a mobile car wash.
Oh, so what happened to the taxi one?
No, remember that was the one that I sold to buy the equipment.
Oh, you sold that one. All right, fine. Me
Yeah.
take the taxi man, mash it up.
No, man, no.
All right,
Yeah.
so you sold that one and bought the car wash equipment.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, man. So when I started that, as I said, December 2019, so you can imagine by 2020, never expect a pandemic.
Oh, my goodness. So
Yeah.
what happened? The pandemic is a very interesting thing, because as terrible as it was, there are so many sides to COVID.
Yeah.
So tell us about your experience with COVID.
Well, to be honest, it wasn't bad for me, really, because that was when any mobile service that offered convenience would definitely blow up.
Oh, my goodness.
So, can you imagine starting with a car wash? A pandemic is there, so we quickly got some other equipment and said, "Alright, we're going to steam and sanitize some vehicle." That was a big seller.
Most. From you say sanitize.
Yeah, man, definitely.
You got it.
The only challenge was to protect myself and other workers. That was the only challenge, But it blew up at that time.
So how did you protect yourself and other workers? And also during that time, there were staying law regulations and all of that, which would have applied to you.
Yeah.
So how you overcame all of that?
Well, you know, that at that time, that was a challenge. That was like the biggest challenge. But we just usually protect ourselves based on what we heard on the radio. You know, the mask, the gloves, sanitize, and all of that. So that was what we had to do at the time. Yeah.
So, I can just understand that because for those people who have someone wash their cars or wash your car at a car wash,
Yeah.
oftentimes you can't go there because of all the restrictions.
Yeah.
So how did you advertise enough to let people start calling you? They would have to call you, right?
Yeah.
How that went?
We use two main platforms, which is Instagram, which we currently have 13,000 followers on, and we use Google, which is the Google itself. You can type in auto detail in Kingston, and you'd find Ellis Car Wash as one of the top ranking mobile car wash in the parish.
When you say top ranking, how many were there before anyway?
Yeah, well, there weren't a lot at the time, but now a lot of mobile car washes are out there right now. Yeah, man.
Which is good. I mean, it might sound like competition, but on one hand, that's that. And then on the other hand, people are now getting accustomed to mobile car wash.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. So all right, fine. So the pandemic, as I said before, is an interesting thing because the first thought that you have is that, my goodness, I can't go to work. That's one thought. My goodness, my business are going to mash up. That's another thought. But a lot of businesses actually blossomed during that time, depending on what, of course, you're selling. So tell us now about the transition from a 9-to-5 to entrepreneurship, because we don't want to gloss over this and make people think that, oh, that's easy, mama, I left my work a morning. Tell us about the challenges.
Well, the challenge is really based on your personal situation. So for me, I have a son and a daughter. You know, I have to think about bills, I have to think about debt. So that was the main challenge. But during that time, I literally programmed my mind that I would resign from my job. So I literally had to, you know, you have your close persons that you share the message with. For instance, my girlfriend, my close friends, and other associates. But you have to limit the amount of person that you would tell that, hey, you know, I want to resign from my job, because trust me, most of who we know
not gonna support that,
and they are very scared, and that includes that includes their parents and all that. Even people who love you and wish you well, they are very scared to say, yo, Kevaughn, you sure you want to resign? And remember, you have your kids them for send to school, and you have bills and all of that. And trust me, we had like a handful of persons who believe that, yo, yeah, you can do it. And trust me, the resignation, it wasn't like it was clear to me that, yo, once you leave, it will go work. It was like, we jump off in the deep, no life jacket, because you know, if you have a life jacket,
you can swim.
Yeah, and it's like you just wait for the wave bring you wherever, and most likely it will bring you back to the shore.
Ooh.
That's the strongest possibility.
Yes.
So, and if you have a lifeguard, then it's like, it's a safe net. Which 95 is a safe net, is a guarantee, you know. But what if something happened at the middle of the month? So I decided that, yo, I was going to jump off and I was going to learn to swim. And I reached a point where I was in the middle of the ocean, and it's easier to turn back, you know, because you can just float and just go with the wave, go with the tide. But instead, we just continue on the journey, and down to the last minute when I was typing up my resignation, just nervous. Yeah, we're not gonna act like
it was a breeze.
No,
it can't be a breeze.
Nervous. And when I said to my girlfriend, I gotta do it, you know, and she support the whole thing. And then when we reach the last stage now, I say, no, I wonder if I'm for real. So she said, well, yeah, you get scared, like,
yes,
you know.
Nice, you have a supportive girlfriend.
Yeah, man, big up Sashik, man.
Yeah,
she very supportive throughout the whole thing. Yeah,
so
man,
that definitely supposed to have encouraged you even more.
Yes, man.
Because she would be one of your greatest concerns.
Yes, definitely, because anything happened to me would affect her. And I had a close associate like Rolando from Stanford Express Delivery. It was one of my friend them where jump off to and I do him thing, and then when we get the final confirmation now, big up Kalisha, she usually work in the corporate world. And me and her reason, and she start a restaurant now, and she say, yo, Ellis, from corporate to kitchen. And me I say, no, that sound good. And me I say, from clerks to water boot. Because you know, we're in the office. When we inside the office, we read clerks right through.
Yeah.
And now we're in a water boot every day. And trust me, we look forward, because a lot of people wonder how we do it.
Hold on a little bit though. From clerks to water boot.
Yeah.
But here want no. Wearing clerks can't earn no money, you know.
No man, because you have to walk. You have to take your time and walk. There's not
Don't
much
it?
where you can really do.
And you can't do no car washing in your clerks.
Alright.
So the water boots actually gaining more revenue for make you can buy the clerks.
Yeah, man.
But the clerks now make you earn nothing.
The clerks now make. And talking about that, enough days we have a small water boot, enough days while working at ministry. And we know start work I go start by 9 o'clock. I reach a somebody yard by 7 o'clock and wash a one car and go to work.
This is before you were full time.
Yeah. And we leave work and we do the same thing. And otherwise, I just the weekend. And me just see it and me just feel it and me just feel like me find it.
You alright. So alright, fine. So you bought the car wash supplies with the money that you got from the car. Tell us how you actually started. What services you offered? Because at that time, with no revenue coming in at the beginning, the services would have been limited. So what you started off offering?
First, it was just wash and vacuum and like steam cleaning at the time, which we did run with the steam clean as a second service due to the pandemic. But eventually we would go and we started to do headlight restoration, we do engine wash, we do full interior detail where we clean your seats, your roof, we extract the dirt from that, the floor, the entire car. We started doing foam wash, which is a different kind of wash, and then eventually we would transition to doing sofa cleaning, carpets.
We're going to get into the sofa cleaning when we come from the break. But in the case of the power wash and that kind of thing and the cleaning of the seats, you would go to where the car is.
Yeah, man, anywhere in Kingston and Portmore. Yeah.
Okay, between Kingston and Portmore, which is not too much of a stretch because you know the gas price. You have to go factor that in the cost.
Yes.
And sometimes that are going to make things more expensive.
Yes.
So I understand that's something. All right. So we're going to take a break, and then when we come back now, we're going to talk about the other when you started to expand the business.
Definitely.
All right. So we're going to take a break. We have live in studio Kevaughn Ellis, and Kevaughn is operator and owner of the business called Ellis Car Wash and Auto Detailing. So that was that. That's how you started, and then you started to get more equipment. So am I to assume that it was doing well, the business?
Yeah, it was growing at the time.
It was
still growing.
And it's wonderful. So it was growing. You were doing what you were doing in spite of the pandemic, and the business started to grow. And then at what stage now did you add more features?
So most of the tools that you used to clean like car seats and like the car floor and stuff like that can actually clean sofas, it can clean mattress, it can clean carpets. So of course customer would suggest and say, why you don't clean sofas, or they would ask if I could clean sofas as well, and I said, alright, give it a try, and then we just got some additional tools to get the job done, and that was how we started doing that.
When you say additional tools, like how so?
So you have specific tools to clean, like for instance a mattress and a sofa. But the ones that we had before could do it, but you have the professional ones, so we'd upgrade to those tools and get them done.
That's what I mean when I say COVID brought different experiences to different people, because a lot of people wanted to sanitize even more than normal their surroundings as a result of the very same COVID. So people were when someone, one of your clients suggested this, right?
Yes.
And did you find that there was more interest in the house being cleaned or the car being cleaned?
It's mainly the cars, but like usually this time of the year, most persons gonna give their sofas a fresh up or the mattress and like that. So it have its season, but mainly cars right through.
Right. So you're doing that now. Any regrets?
The only regret is probably not doing it earlier.
That's what most people who start their own business that's doing well say.
Yeah.
And let us talk a little bit about that. I know we soon have to seal up, but it's something that is said oftentimes. What do you think would have been your reservation, and what do you need to overcome these reservations? Because a lot of people think that a 9 to 5 is some kind of security.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have found out that it's actually a false sense of security. Yeah. What has your experience been moving from 9 to 5 to owning your own business?
All right, so for most persons believe that as an entrepreneur or quote unquote being a businessman or whatever is just you have more time, but really and truly it's from 9 to 5 to now working 24/7. Because if you're gonna make the jump, you're talking about me going out doing the actual job, creating contents while doing the job, reach home, edit the content, post the content every single morning. I post content so that the content can bring in other jobs. And when the other jobs coming in while I'm on another job, you know, so it is a lot of work. It's like a 24/7 job, you know, and it's about being consistent at whatever you're doing, because it's like an algorithm where you start today and by the end of the week you're not going to see any growth, and then 3 months later you see a little beanie growth, but the little beanie growth that you're going to see, it's not enough to take care of you where you can leave your job or anything like that. So you still have to put on the next couple of months on it, and sometimes when people decide to give up, it really take them, say for instance, it's going to take you a year to be successful at this particular thing. And people give up like 11 months.
Just before.
And the thing about it is that there's nobody that can tell you that, yo, if you do this in a year time, you're going to be successful.
Absolutely.
There's no specialist, because even if somebody did it before, it's a different situation. You're talking about having the capital to invest and all of that, because having a 9 to 5 and starting a business, you literally have to stop doing some things to use the 9 to 5, the little way you get for invest. And for me personally, I don't believe that you have to have the ideal to start. People, when I started off, it was a 7-seater vehicle. We removed the back seats and we started, and everybody was like, yo, you need one of them IS van there, a Nissan Caravan for start, because it couldn't do much vehicle and all that. But me know that all I needed to do was to start.
Yeah, man. Same way, so.
Eventually we get the van and we upgrade the thing, you know. So
I don't think people realize that them discouraging you when them doing it.
Yeah.
Some people realize. But it's as though they see you making the first step and them say to you, say, no, man, we over there say for there, and we know. But we're taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
And you have to be consistent about that. You can't make people say to you, say, this I use my brethren, other them thing I use, like, no, but me using that first.
yeah.
You really have to be, you know, consistent and confident in what you do.
Because as I said, sometimes persons see you at the first step.
Yes.
But you plan for them way over this, but them just feel like, say, yo, you just plan for make the first step. Because I will leap look up, me there for black out something.
Me just go say you have to cock up your ears some of the time.
Yeah, because remember now, you know, if people know Kevaughn Ellis back from probably 2014 at the poetry and with their own Empress Golden with Talk Up Youth and all of that, and you see me, I wash 2 car and thing, you might have said, yo, what go wrong here?
You mad? A true enough?
Yeah, literally that, and me have
man.
to just know, say, yo, me not really care, because me know, say, this are bringing in a way better revenue than when we're there in the office. So
And probably not initially.
Yeah.
But you have your plan.
Yeah, because you know it eventually will go to that.
Absolutely. It's something that we're talking about just on the weekend, having a plan and the importance of having a plan. Sometimes people say all kind of things, oh, you can't carry it with you, you know. No. We not carry it, but at the end of the day, we still have to have a plan. Let me tell you something that you said that is so interesting. The 9 to 5, when you're working 9 to 5, when 5 o'clock coming up, I warm you up.
Done.
You said not a minute afterwards, because usually the pain or even that had to extend it past the 5.
All right.
It's good. But when you're working with yourself, that is when you put everything in what you're doing. So you actually, as you said, end up working more hours.
Yeah. Talking about the pay and all of that, I remember at one point, say for instance, say I get me would make a $5 extra if me do overtime. Me literally down the overtime and go do my car wash in the evening time for go make $3 and not the 5, because at the end of the day, me know say me have to build my own thing.
Well said.
Yeah.
And this is something we as a people, we as Jamaicans, we as black people need to understand and get it. We need to get it, because a lot of us are afraid to take that leap. You see that jump where you jump off into the deep?
Yeah.
That is the scary part. Will I sink or will I swim?
Yeah.
And that's entirely up to you.
You can't panic because you're going to sink if you panic.
All right, finally now, what would be your advice to anyone who is at the point that you were at where you're not quite sure if you must go full-time or stay with the 9 to 5?
My advice would be to just stay tunnel vision and whatever you're going after, and to stay consistent. I believe that a lot of persons talk about hard work and smart work, but I believe that with all of that, consistency is what makes everyone successful. Whether you're a Usain Bolt or you're a scholar at the university, anything you're doing, if you don't consistent at that, then you probably stop when you just did that make it.
Exactly.
So just stay consistent and it will happen one day.
Absolutely. And make sure you love what you're doing, because that helps with the consistency.
Yeah.
So you're still writing poems?
It's been a while, like from probably 2019, but we still are inspire. We still are inspire, and that's the greatest thing.
Well, you really have inspired us this morning. Absolutely. And I'm sure you have inspired many people listening, because it is something that is on many people's minds. Should I go or should I stay? And it's always up to the individual.
Yeah.
But there are many, many success stories like yours. But we just have to remember that it don't start at the end. It starts at the beginning.
Sure.
Wonderful talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
And good to see you again.
Yeah, man.
My producer said, boy, you know everybody. She swear, say, but me know what I said, not join him, come and want to see you first. Make sure, say, I see him, Kevaughn. I see him, Kevaughn.
Big up everybody at the bridge, I wash a lot of cars at the bridge.
Really?
Yeah, man. Big up Abigail, because she first call you up on the bridge, and yeah, man. We know
Very nice.
Know a lot of persons on the bridge, yeah, man.
Very nice. So my car, you never wash it, but we're gonna remedy that.
Yeah,
we're gonna
man.
remedy that. All right. So again, lovely to see you again, and thanks for sharing your bravery, because it does take bravery to do what you're doing. All right. Welcome, Dr. Barnett.
Thanks. Yes, Ron. Yes.
Okay. So you're live.
I'm live.
Yes,
yeah.
you are live, and we're streaming live to the Tri-State. So we also have Beauregard, our co-host, live online also. So he's also going to be asking you some questions. All right?
Greetings,
man.
Dr. Barnett. Greetings.
Greetings.
All right.
So, yes, as you said, Mama Elise, this is the month of Peter Tosh, and on October 19th, on his Earth Strong, we're going to have the relaunch of the annual Peter Tosh Symposium. We had a higher. So the last one we had was 219, but
Really?
well, there was some online events which took place 2020 October and 2021 called Courtesy of Peter Tosh Estate, but it wasn't, wasn't that his Earth Strong was not
Okay.
celebrated, but it is a different dynamic.
Okay, you're kind of breaking up. I don't know if you want to talk closer. I don't know what is happening, but you're breaking up.
Is this any better?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So, particularly, we have the relaunch of the face-to-face symposium taking place at the UE campus, October 19th. That's tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Celebrate his Earth Strong, his 78th Earth Strong. And this one is entitled Peter Tosh, Reggae Revolutionary, Ganja Advocate and Visionary. Mm-hmm. And it features Professor Clinton Houghton, Priest Douglas Smith, and Russ I.V. Copeland Forbes will be...
Copeland Forbes managed Peter Tosh for a while.
Yes.
You're breaking up again.
Live, but he's almost slated to be live at the event.
Okay.
But he's abroad. He couldn't make it in, so we'll get a video message from him. You know.
Okay. You know, Dr. Barnett, the symposium is organized by the Department of Sociology and Psychology and Social Work at the UWI.
Yes.
Respectfully, what would be a consensus, a general consensus amongst sociologists and psychologists and social workers about an individual like a Winston Hubert McIntosh?
Well, you could say from the sociology unit. It's a department that is 3 separate units. So it's really the sociology unit of which I'm a part leading this event. I must say that. So we tend to take a sociology, what was the impact of him on the society and the world, you know. So we're looking at more the social impact of his message and his social impact of the music and what he represented, you know.
Right.
Which was a Pan-African outlook, for one thing. When he did the song African, he said, no matter where you come from, as long as you're black,
right,
you're African.
Right.
You know, they legalized it. He was a Ganja Advocate from way back. You know, he launched that album 76. You know, equal rights and justice. You know, it was advocate for civil rights and human rights, you know, generally speaking, you know, stand up for your rights.
Right.
That sort of thing. Yeah, get up, stand up. Mm-hmm. He co-wrote that song with Bob Marley, by the way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just for people to note that. So he encompasses and embodies so much. I mean, he was a brilliant musician, but the message was very strong. The message, that message content is considerable, you know, and it's timeless. That's the other thing.
Absolutely.
It's timeless, and you know, my thing is, I hope, you know, the young new generation are mindful that the message content is important in the music, you know, and so forth. Yeah.
You know, his social commentary, Dr. Barnett, is just amazing, because when Peter Tosh was commenting socially about not just what was happening locally, but what was happening internationally, people are probably just now, or in probably the last decade, coming to terms with what a social commentator he actually was. And we're talking about songs from Rhodesia days, from Ian Smith and apartheid, and having apartheid. And having comments on, I mean, as you say, revolutionary comments about the system of apartheid.
Yes. And he brought that to attention, I would say, even before the US government really jumped on that.
Absolutely.
Dr. Barnett, do you feel that Peter Tosh gets the respect that he deserves in Jamaica?
You're
breaking up.
You're breaking up, Michael.
I said I think the respect level is there amongst some.
We're not hearing.
I don't know where you are, but you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Is this any better here?
Yes.
I'm trying to move. Right. So the respect level, it could be better, but it's still there among certain quarters of the society, but it could be better. And by the way, just for the record, he did get an Order of Merit.
Yes, we did.
Just as Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer. So they all actually have that, is that they got the highest, regular citizen honors. So,
nice. Thanks for giving us that information. That means you're listening to our conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I heard that conversation. Yes.
So he's Peter Tosh OM.
He is, yes, indeed.
Okay. We were just talking about Dennis Brown and others who have not gotten any kind of recognition, and we're kind of wondering why, because the ministry that, is responsible is a very active ministry. And,
yes.
and they have been really redeeming themselves by giving awards to, let us say, even Leonard Howell this year.
Yes, that's interesting. All of the conversations afloat, and I want to commend the ministry for giving him an award, but there are conversations as why.
Hello?
Yeah.
Right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
right.
I'm hearing you.
Commendations were given to the ministry for that initiative of having Leonard Howell celebrated and basically regarded as getting national honors,
right.
Recognized to receive national honors. But the question is afloat still as a conversation as why couldn't it be in a higher award, such as an Order of Merit, for instance?
What was his? What did he get?
He got an Order of Distinction.
OD.
OD, yeah. Officer class, yeah.
Okay. What was also interesting, Michael, was the welcoming of His Imperial Highness Prince Ermias. And he was a special guest for Heritage Week, which is another step that, it is in the right direction and something that we've not seen before. Comment on that.
It was an initiative, governmental, largely driven by Minister Babsy Grange.
Yes.
Let me just say that was their initiative, and I think what they wanted to do was spice up Heritage Week and have an African dignitary present to add that into the mix.
Mm-hmm.
My perspective is that provided an interesting dynamic.
Yes, it did.
Tying it into the 60th anniversary. But having said that, though, it's a general perspective, and I wonder how the general public then we remain to see how they have responded to that. I mean, for Rastafari, it's they're not really celebrating the 60th anniversary so much, because the argument is that Jamaica's still not fully independent,
right,
and so forth. So, but I mean, I guess it's still a milestone in terms of the independence celebration. So they wanted to add something and make it something special, from what I can understand. But I must say I wasn't part of that initiative. That was the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. Yeah.
The gesture was good, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Barnett, while the symposium is going to give a lot of people a good understanding of who Peter Tosh was, there's this famous concert video that's on YouTube that you get to see where Peter Tosh is basically burning a fire on the political system and telling them to legalize the herb and things of that nature. A lot of politicians were in the audience at the time. I believe it was the One Love Peace concert.
Oh, yes, 78, yes.
How did that performance affect his career afterwards?
Well, I think he got a brutal beating, at the police station, halfway through lockup, after those pronouncements.
It was after that?
Yeah, man, it was after that. So there's an argument that beating he got was as a result of the pronouncements. You know, I mean that's yet to be clarified, but it this way. I mean, some people thought he was disrespectful and this and that, but he was speaking his mind. You see, the difference between Peter and Bob, I would say, is that Bob was more diplomatic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So he was a different personality. Peter just told you what he was thinking. It was like no filter or anything. Absolute rebel. He was very direct. So I think that's another reason why Bob is more widely embraced than Peter.
But that's the Peter we've come to know and love, and you know, and that's what makes him Peter Tosh, the Intel Diplo.
Yes.
But it's amazing, though, Dr. Barnett, how different the Wailers were, though. Talking about Peter, Bunny, and Bob, it is as though they were handpicked for three totally different reasons.
Yes, I mean, and that's a good perspective, an interesting one, because the reality is a lot of people argue, well, it was a pity that the group splintered, and there is that perspective, but at the same time, we got a range, we got more music from them leading their own individual musical careers, we got, I guess, everybody was able to express themselves as they wanted to, But there's a rich catalog with the Wailers, though, when they were together. And the reality is that musical groups do split, they do fragment and so forth.
Yes.
And this happened. There are many different perspectives as to what really led to the split, but all said and done is they went their own way, basically. And Peter did the Legalize It album as soon as he pursued his solo career, which is a fantastic album, and was before its time in terms of the advocacy for the herb, And then after that, we had the Equal Rights album, which was very political. Had equal rights on the album, Get Up, Stand Up on apartheid, and extremely political. And and then we had Bushman and Bush Doctor, Mystic Man, and so forth. So we had a whole range, a whole catalog of music that we may not have had if the Wailers remained intact.
Absolutely.
So that's a perspective,
Right.
Dr. Barnett, you talk about Legalize It. Wasn't that song banned in Jamaica, wasn't it? Or Equal Rights and those songs, they were also banned in Jamaica. Well, unofficially banned in Jamaica.
Maybe unofficially, but I don't know to what extent. I mean, to my knowledge, Legalized It got some airplay. But the 70s was an interesting time in it. If we talk about radio play, reggae wasn't played much on the radio, at all, during the 70s.
Well, something that's interesting, though, Dr. Barnett. I worked at a station that didn't play reggae. In fact, it was called the Fraternity of Amazing Musical American Expressions. But I remember distinctly, though, that somehow we could play the Jimmy Cliffs and the Peter Toshes and the Bob Marleys and the Dennis Browns. It was the others that had problems getting their songs played.
Okay.
Yes. So the established ones were played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's good to know. And I was a teenager at that time. So
he says he adds.
Yeah. So you definitely more of an authority on that.
Yeah.
I
You're breaking up again.
I said I went on and bought the music, though. The music attracted me, and what was great was that my dad was a great fan of Peter, Bunny, and Bob, so that helped. So, he would play some stuff on his record player, and I said, wow, that's so. I came of age in terms of listening to that music. So for me, the 70s was the golden era of reggae. So I have this nostalgia about the 70s.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but Peter, should still be appreciated for his contribution, no doubt. And we have so many people who have much to say about him that a forum, needs to happen,
Yes.
and it doesn't just need to be one forum, but this is the chance. Also, we know Bob Marley's birthday, most people have it ingrained in their minds, February the 6th, and that's celebrated every year. So I think let's also celebrate Peter's Earth Strong. October 19th. Yeah.
Dr. Barnett, over the years, have there been any features at the symposium? Any special guest artists have came to perform?
Yeah, we had Andrew Tosh, who did a great performance, notably 2010. We've had History Man. We had Tobacco Pyramid. Actually, he gave a talk. He gave a perspective on Peter Tosh, and Janine gave a perspective. They didn't actually perform, but we've had a presentation by a group called Nexus. And I can't confirm them now, but I'm hoping to bring them. But they do a cappella version of Creation, and I tell you, it's out.
Wow.
I'm hoping to bring them.
Dr. Barnett, as we stream live right now to the United States, we probably should make the point that Bob Marley really had got his fame, a lot of his fame, from Europe and Europeans. Or European descendants. Peter Tosh, on the other hand, got his fame from Black America.
Okay.
A lot of Black Americans, even more so than Bob Marley did. A lot of Black Americans support, respect, play, honor Peter Tosh, and even more so than Bob Marley.
That's interesting.
Back in the day, yes, Black America was all about Peter Tosh because of his revolutionary stand. I'm not saying they weren't for Bob, but Bob was mostly appreciated, at least in the beginning, by European descendants.
Right.
But African descendants, especially where Beauregard is, they went all out for Peter Tosh.
Wow.
Yes. And I guess because, as you said, the revolutionary aspect of his songs, would just resonate with when you're in the struggle, that's going to resonate because even we know South Africa, that people.
Hello?
Peter, for instance, resonated strongly in South Africa.
There you go.
So just as Bob Marley's song Zimbabwe had Zimbabwe, so Peter's song also resonated strongly in South Africa. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why you could have a Lucky Dube come about.
Sounding so much like him.
Yes. The influence is on.
Beauregard?
Dr. Barnett, what would you say Peter Tosh's vision of today was?
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you now, yes.
All right, good. What would you say Peter Tosh's vision of 2022 was?
That's a good question. Well, he was a visionary, so his thing was, you can't blame the youth, was one of the songs, I think, was that, we have to, I kind of say, take some responsibility. If we say the youth, them are going astray, as to maybe how we may have contributed to that. I think if you set a rubric, an example, you give them a certain level of direction,
Yes.
So that's one song he did that. And there's so many songs that were very visionary. What about No Nuclear War?
Yes.
Yes, you know what I mean? Because here we are, possibly on the brink of nuclear war, with Putin and so forth, and this Ukraine war. Because I don't think, I don't put it past Putin to fire nuclear missiles if he doesn't feel he's getting anywhere with the Ukraine war. and that could start off, I mean, as a catastrophe right there. So, you know, we have a lot of things that, you know, even the climate, look at what's happening now to our climate, or it's destroying the balance of nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so my thing is we have to start looking more at the future too. We're not just for our generation, but for many generations. Do we want a livable planet Earth where we can all, you know, thrive and, you know, and live as the Almighty intended us to live, you know?
And just to add to that, Dr. Barnett, we see where the legalization of marijuana is taking place all over the world now. So
We thought about
Exactly.
Peter Tosh
That's a good
immediately when that
Yeah,
was
man.
happening, you know?
Yes,
Yeah, man.
yes. Notably, I think Joe Biden passed something recently.
Yeah.
to pardon, yeah.
Legalization effort. So we're seeing that coming to fruition, you know?
And you do
That's
you
all.
remember that
Yeah.
that it was Peter the I think it was MSC Cincinnati. You remind me, Beauregard, but they actually played a Peter Tosh while they were talking about Joe Biden's stance.
MSNBC.
MSNBC.
Yeah.
They played a Peter Tosh. But what kind of okay, we need to break, and then when we come forward, Dr. Barnett, let's talk about the form that the symposium will take.
Okay.
So we're talking to Dr. Barnett, and Dr. Barnett, for those who don't know, is a senior lecturer in the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work. And Dr. Barnett, wasn't it you who actually conceptualized the symposium, was it?
No, it wasn't me actually. I took it over from Clinton Hutton, who was doing it, and we have to also credit Warrell King.
Okay.
Who
Yes.
started everything going on.
Yes.
Warrell King actually conceptualized a Peter Tosh concert and the symposium. So
Pick up yourself,
you know,
Warrell. Thank you for
yeah,
clearing that up.
Yeah, yes.
Right.
Yeah, so I just keeping, you know, the torch has been passed to me, and I'm trying to keep the fire burning, you know?
You know, Beauregard asked a question or alluded to the fact that Peter Tosh's music still relevant and how the relevance of Peter's music. And Dr. Barnett, let us look at a song like Vampire. Unfortunately, it is more probably relevant today than when Peter did sing the tune.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Don't want to see the youth them strive, the youth them are suffer more so that, well, unfortunately, it is still relevant.
Yeah. Pronouncements are very relevant today. We still have social injustice. We still have down pressure. You know, all of these things still. So it is undoubtedly very, very relevant. And you know,
Breaking up again.
those folks who are very, you know, sensitive to, you know, the inequalities and the down pressure that exists, you know this, you know. Yes.
All right, the form that the symposium will take.
So we're gonna have Professor Clinton Hutton speaking on, you know, injustice and the oppression, the oppressive systems that are in place, especially against black people, you know, worldwide. You know, the struggle hasn't finished, so to speak. He's going to speak to the revolutionary content of Peter's music. Priest Douglas Smith, Ganja Advocate, but he's also going to speak to how, you know, the Rastafari philosophy, how Pete incorporated that into his music, you know, and put it out there worldwide, you know. The Pan-Africanist aspect is very, very clear, and Rastafari fundamentally are Pan-Africanist.
Right.
And he's also going to talk a little bit about the ganja aspect. But the main, in terms of the ganja now, Rasaya V is a known ganja advocate, and he's really gonna drill down on that.
And
you
from
know?
the parish of Peter Tosh too, a Westmoreland
There
man.
you go, Westmoreland, most definitely. So so Rasaya V will make a commentary on that. We have musical performance by History Man. We have a few other invited guests, but I'm not going to announce them right now because that has to be finalized and so forth. But we will have some Peter Tosh music being played as well. And, you know, we hope to have an interactive question and answer session with the folks who are there. And you know, just have a celebration of Tosh, the man, the message, and the music, you know?
You know, Dr. Tosh, I think that the creation of this symposium is a very great thing. It's a very good way to keep the legacy and the memory of Peter Tosh alive. So we thank you for, you know, providing this symposium for people to come to and listen and gain some knowledge. You know, one of the things I want to also mention is the fact that here in the United States, the date September 11th is a very, very significant day here. It's the day when America was attacked by terrorists in 2001. Many Americans died, also Caribbean people of other nationalities, Jamaicans, you know, but long before that, September 11th, 1987 was known as the day that Peter Tosh was gunned down. What did his death mean to Jamaicans and to the world at large?
I mean, I think it was a very tragic day. I mean, it was, you know, it's a sad day that, you know, he had to pass that way. I mean, at least in the case of Bob, he died of natural causes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to be gunned down that way was sad, you know. It was very sad, and I myself remember when I heard the announcement on the radio, and it was it was sad. But you know, the irony was that he, like Bob, had done so much, you know, in the relative early years of his life that, you know, the legacy still lives on. You know, we've had many people who've died suddenly, you know, but still left a legacy. I mean, even as you mentioned, Dennis Brown died fairly young, you know. He's in his early 40s, and he passed suddenly, you know, 1999, I remember. But you know, the legacy is there, though. That's the thing, and it's a credit to an artist when your catalog is so deep and the message is so timeless that your legacy lives on through the music, if nothing else, you know?
Dr. Barnett, can I ask that we remember the humor that Peter Tosh had? Because while we remember the legalization, the Ganja Advocate, the Visionary, and the Revolutionary, Peter Tosh was a very, very humorous individual. And it comes across in his music. And one of the songs that, you know, we played today actually is one called Soon Come. And we also have to remember the one that says, oh no, all, and you know, that one definitely couldn't play upon radio.
Yeah, exactly.
But that play on words in that song, Peter Tosh was an advocate of what they would have called Jamaican bad word, because he used to insist that there are not bad words, they are power words, and we must use them accordingly.
Yes. To drive where wickedness and bad spirit and all them.
And all them something there. Yeah. So please remember that while we celebrate Peter Tosh.
Yeah, and could I just say, though, remind the audience that is happening at UWI campus from 6 to 9 tomorrow evening in the multifunctional room. So it's a venue. We moved to a different venue, but it's near the main library. So for those people coming, you don't know the campus that well, just ask where the main library is, and it's a lecture room which is right next to the main library on the UWI campus in Mona there. Yeah?
Right.
So this is also a birthday celebration as well?
Yes, definitely. It's very deliberately programmed tomorrow on his Earth Strong. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you so very much for your time. I know you warned me before we came on how busy you are, and I can just imagine. So we're going to let you go now. And thanks again for taking the time out to share with us what's happening in terms of celebrating this wonderful, incredible musician.
Thank you very much, Dr. Barnett.
Yeah. And thank you very much for having me.
Most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Give thanks.
Nice.
Bless you.
So, Beauregard, we have been, a sister of mine who is a member of the 12 Tribes of Israel flooded my phone yesterday with all kinds of information about the coronation coming up on the 2nd, and a lot of information about where it will be your side.
Yes.
And the comment was that, why you and Beauregard not talk about them thing there, but why you have the information about it theme side too. So, we have the...
We have the information. Yeah, man, we'll definitely be there.
Yeah, so we can talk about that. I guess that was what that was all about, that we could talk about it. So
Sure, indeed.
So yeah, we
You
can
know,
talk about it.
wonderful discussion with Dr. Barnett just now. Just before you go, Mama Kelly, the Haitian community is definitely in shock right now and in mourning. One of their artists, his name is Mika Ben. His actual name is Michael Benjamin, but they call him Mika Ben. He collapsed on stage in Paris over the weekend, and he died.
Oh no!
You know, that was just after he finished performing, he actually walked towards the back of the stage, and you saw when he collapsed on stage in front of the whole entire audience, and then it was announced that he died on the way to the hospital.
Goodness.
So
you know, Chanel Muir also collapsed on the weekend too.
that's what I heard.
Yes,
That's what I heard.
but you know, she admitted that it was exhaustion. And let me tell you something. You see, those of us who people like you, Beauregard, we are playing morning, noon, and night at them session there. We have to be careful how we spread our energy and how we preserve our energy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this is just exhaustion, you know.
Yeah, man.
In
You have to
Shanine's
rest.
case, she said it was exhaustion.
You got to rest.
We got to rest. And there's no substitute for it. You can't take a drink when you rest drinks.
You have to rest up and forward again.
Oh, my producer said, yes, there is Red Bull.
Oh, wow.
I don't think so, that man. I don't think so.
That name adrenaline and sugar in a can.
No, mommy, no, you never want to take that with alcohol in there. Yeah, so that's that. So, Beauregard.
Thank you very much, Mama Kelly. It was a wonderful discussion, wonderful interview. Always a wonderul time. And I forgot to tell Richie about this.
Yes, yeah. I don't think that Richie want hear, you know. If I'm not listening here already.
Yeah, man. You know, one of my brethren actually texted me, Mama Kelly. Let me read what he texted and said. The man said, goosebumps is an understatement right now for alright. I was listening to you on the radio and Mama on the Bridge app. She said for alright. Him said for alright, it's a calling.
Oh, he heard the both. Oh,
he heard both.
Goodness.
Yeah. So Jason, bless up yourself.
Nice, sweet, nice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. That's where Jah live. You know what I mean? All right. So the studio crowded now, so that means it's time to get on out of here.
All right, Mama Kelly, we'll do this again on Thursday.
Yes, we will. Have a wonderful day. Rest of the day.
Take care.
All right. So it's that time in the afternoon. Thank you very much again, Beauregard and the Irie Jam Radio family. And it's time for me to get out of here. And yeah, the name of the program coming up now is Let's Talk Justice. So that's what's coming up here now. In the meantime, one big heart of love.